Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to the whole Ba'if, the whole house of YAHUAH'S. Peace and blessings, Shalom and Barakut to you and your entire house. Shabbat Shalom to you wherever your feet are touching the soil on this yom, wherever you call home via the diaspora. We say Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to the elder Ak Yehuda. Shabbat Shalom to the younger Ak Ephraim. Shabbat Shalom to the former stranger, the former foreigner who was formerly estranged from the everlasting covenant, to the former Gentile, to the former nation, who are now no longer strangers or foreigners or estranged from the everlasting covenant or Gentiles and nations, but having received the Ruach of adoption, the Ruach HaKadosh, who is the spirit, the Ruach of the Mashiach, and having whereby been engrafted into the olive tree, who is Yahusha, who is YAHUAH'S, and now by whereby becoming fellow citizens and fellow Yashalim, and now being fellow partakers of the same everlasting covenant and promise and inheritance that was given to YAHUAH'S all alone. Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to you wherever your feet are touching the soil. All 12 tribes worldwide and the stranger who has attached himself to us. Shabbat Shalom to you on this yom. To those of you who are on YouTube, who will hear this later on, once again, we welcome you. We're grateful that Yahuwah has led you to Yahuwah's Remnant Shabbat gathering. We do not take this lightly. This is no light thing. We are grateful to be a part of what Yahuwah is doing in the earth, in the gathering of his people. We are grateful that he has deemed us worthy because we are indeed unworthy servants. Welcome again to those of you who are on YouTube who will watch this later on. I am Dawood Ben Yahuwah, and this is my Aisha Ashayah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to you. Worldwide. Worldwide. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Once again, we continue the journey. We continue the journey of the ancient path in which Abba has revealed to us that if we continue along this road, if we continue along this servant's road, if we continue along this lowly man's road, this humble man's road, if we continue along this perfect way called the ancient path, called Torah, that if we would just endure and continue this path, not turning to the right or to the left, that this path will not only lead to everlasting life, but that this path will lead us to Mount Zion. This path will lead us to being redeemed from amongst men. This path will lead us, will keep us from the hour of trial and lead us to Mount Zion, where we will be giving robes and where we will be giving a song that no one else can sing. This road is not easy. The word declares that this road is hard pressed. The easy road is that broad road. It's the broad road of many encompassing religions, different religions and perspectives and points of views. That is that broad road. That is the road that is most traveled. That is the road that, as Abba has shown us, is bumper to bumper goat. Goats, bumper to bumper, stiff-necked goats walking that road, and not the meek and humble sheep that are walking the servant's road, the narrow path, the ancient path that leads to everlasting life. And so there are many Many traveling that road, many traveling that broad road. Indeed, many are called, but few are chosen. Not all will come. Most choose that broad path, that easy path. It's very easy to walk that broad path. You don't have to give up anything. You can live as you want. You can do as you want. You can make your own rules. Indeed, there is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is destruction. That broad path, it's very easy to do. In that broad path, very few people hate you, if at all any hate you. Indeed, in this narrow path, the Hamashiach said that all men were going to hate us for his name's sake. But in that broad path, no one hates you. You don't have to turn your back to this world. You can have your cake and eat it too. You can say that you follow Yahuwah and continue to walk along and do the things of this world. You don't have to give up anything. But see, in this narrow path, you got to give up all. In fact, the Hamashiach said that if you don't give up all, you can't be as taught one. You can't be as taught one and walk. You cannot be as taught one and walk that broad path. To be as taught one means to give up all, and that's that narrow path. That's that servant's path. That's that lowly path. That's that ancient path that goes back to eternity. It goes back to eternity. So in walking this path, it has taken, again, many twists and turns. Many twists and turns it has taken. But right before Sukkot, again, this is just a refresher. Right after Sukkot, in the month on the Gregorian calendar called October, Yahuwah dropped a bomb on us, and he then told us that we had to be perfect. That we had to be perfect. Indeed, this ancient path is called the perfect way. It's called the perfect way. Only the perfect can walk this road. And so he dropped that bomb, and he told us that we had to be perfect. And then he began to show us what it looked like to be perfect, what it actually physically or visibly looked like to be perfect. And he began to show us the walk of our ancient fathers. He showed us that we had to be quiet, that one of the characteristics of being perfect is to be tam. The Hebrew word for complete there, when looking at our father Yaakov, is the Hebrew word tam, and it is comprised of the Hebrew letters ta and mom. Ta and mom. We understand it wherever we see the Hebrew letter ta, whenever we see that appears, that we know, we understand that alludes to covenant. When we see the Hebrew letter mom, which is represented by water, we know that this is automatically alluding to spirit, alluding to ruach. And so there in the Hebrew word tam, which is transliterated or which is translated in the English tongue to mean complete, we see the characteristic and nature of somebody who is walking in covenant with Yahuwah, or who is in covenant with Yahuwah. And that person is tam. And tam, again, it means to be complete. It means to be perfect. It means to be perfect. It means to be quiet. And it means to be gentle, meek, and lowly. And so he showed us that whenever you encounter somebody who is not quiet, they run their mouth all the time. They talk all the time. They have no self-control. They have not the fruit of the Ruach. They have no self-control at all. They just run their mouths all the time. They just talk all the time, not having time to be quiet and listen to the voice of Yahuwah. That person is not meek. That person is not lowly. They're not quiet. They're not perfect. So whenever we see that characteristic in someone, he has shown us that, all right, listen, that's not someone who is in covenant with me. They're not in covenant with me. He told us, stop ignoring the fruit. Just stop ignoring the fruit. When you see that person that's always running their mouth, that is not tam, that is not perfect and quiet and complete, That person don't belong to me. That person doesn't know me, and I don't know them. My ruach is not in them. They talk too much. They don't have my character. They don't have my nature because, look, I don't talk a lot. I'm quiet. I'm perfect. I'm complete. I'm Tom. I don't talk all the time. And so those who belong to me, they don't talk all the time. They don't run their mouths all the time. And so if they're doing that, they don't belong to me. They don't have my nature. They don't have my character. Because if you have my ruach, you have my nature, and you have my character. He went on to teach us. He kept teaching us, and he said that now, there's only really there's just two manner of people. That's two manner of folk. That's it. That's it. Either you're born from above or you're born from below. That's it. That's it. Either you're a seed of Yahuwah or you're a seed of the wicked one. That's it. That's it. Either you were born of Cain or you're born of Seth. That's it. That's it. Either you're born of Esau or you're born of Yahuwah. That's it. That's it. Either you are perfect or you are imperfect. Either you are a sheep or you are a goat. And he's shown us that each one of these people, your fruit rather, it tells the story. It dictates it tells people as to who you are, because your character, your actions, your fruit, that tells who you are. That clearly explains to those who have eyes to see, and any manner of discernment, it tells us who you are. Based upon your fruit, we can tell of whether or not you're either born from above or you're born from below. He's made this thing very simple and very easy. Very simple and very easy. If you're born from above, that means you're perfect. That means that you operate in the fruit of the Ruach. You have the fruit of the Ruach, which is the nature and the character of Yahuwah. You have that. If you're born from below, then you have the nature and the character of your father. One of the characteristics of Hashatan is that he talks all the time. He's always in your ear. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's always talking, always chattering, always accusing the brethren. He's always talking. He never shuts up. He never shuts up. Neither does his children. Neither does his children. And so they're just characteristics. Our father is meek and lowly. Those who have Hashatan are full of pride. Yes, they are. No different than Esau, no different than Cain, no different than Nimrod, no different than any of those who are born of the flesh. We have the characteristics and the nature of our father. And he continued to show us that in the two manner of people, that either you are, again, firstborn from above, or you're firstborn from below. Either you're firstborn according to the Ruach, or you're firstborn according to the flesh. And he has shown us now that in accordance to Torah, that he is going to redeem his firstborn son. He has to, because it's written in the Torah. And he has to fulfill everything that's in the Torah. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And in accordance with the Torah, he only redeems firstborn sons. He only redeems firstborn sons, not according to the flesh, but according to the Ruach. And if we are indeed firstborn sons, according to the Ruach, then that qualifies us to walk this ancient path, because he has shown us that the things that are required of us, that the level of perfection and righteousness that is required of us cannot be accomplished in the flesh. And if we are walking that ancient path, truly walking it, then the things that are required of us, the level of perfection and righteousness that are required of us, are being accomplished, because we are indeed on the ancient path. We're there. We're on the ancient path. But you cannot walk that ancient path unless you're qualified to do so, and you're not qualified to do so unless you're born from above, unless you're born from perfection, in a like manner in which Adam was born, not of flesh, not of blood, but of water and of Ruach, and in a like manner in which the Hamashiach was conceived, not of flesh, not of blood, but of Ruach, being born perfect, we too in like manner must be what? Reconceived and reborn in a like manner in which they were conceived and which they were born. We have to be born in the same way in order to be considered firstborn sons or daughters, and in order to be perfect And in order to be qualified to walk the ancient path, there are no goats there. There ain't no goats there on the ancient path. There are no goats there on the ancient path. No, and don't get this confused. Don't get this confused. I know when we gather that there's some tares in here, that there's some goats in here when we gather, but they're not on the ancient path. No, just because they gather with us don't mean that they're on the same road. They have an opportunity to get on the road, but that doesn't mean that they're on it. There are no tares on the ancient path. There are no goats on the ancient path. They're only sheep. They're only sheep on the ancient path. But they have an opportunity to get to this road. They have an opportunity. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And Abba has allowed them to attach themselves to us because only those of us who are on the ancient path knows where it is. It's not a well-lit road. Not many people know where it is. Yahusha said it. He said, not many find it. Not many find it. No, it's a hidden road. It's one of those back roads, back country roads. Ain't no lights on it. Ain't no stop signs on this road. It's not even on a map. You got to take hold of somebody who's on it to allow them to lead you to the ancient path. So they don't know where it is. They don't know where it is. And so just because, again, they gather, that don't mean they're on the road. It doesn't mean they're on the road. They're sitting here Shabbat after Shabbat, whether you're alive or whether you're on YouTube, listening to the words of Yahuwah. But unless you are a doer of righteousness, see, a hearer of righteousness is not considered righteousness. It's not considered righteous. The Torah is righteousness. The doers of righteousness are considered righteous. And you can't do righteousness in your flesh. No, you can't. You can't. You can't do righteousness in your flesh. The righteousness that is required of us is too heavy for your flesh. It's too heavy for it. The flesh can't carry it. The flesh can't carry it. And so he's shown us that this level of perfection that is required of us, it can't be accomplished in the flesh. It cannot. And so that ancient path, the ancient road, is only occupied by firstborn sons according to the Ruach. It's only occupied by sheep. And it's not bumper to bumper, Mishpaka. No. This is a wide open road. It is. It is. There's plenty of space on it. Plenty of space on this road. I mean, it's plenty of space on this road. Plenty of space. There's not many cars on it. Not many cars. You can look at the scenery, look around at the beautiful scenery, and because there's not many cars on this road. But that other road, that broad road, that's bumper to bumper goat. Bumper to bumper goat. But on this one, ain't many people on this road. Not many people can walk this path because it's going to cause you to give up everything, and it's going to cause you to pursue and to do a level of righteousness and a level of perfection that cannot be accomplished in the flesh. And there are not many that are born of Ruach. There ain't many that are born of Ruach. He wants to pour out his Ruach, but there are not many who are born of Ruach. There are not. There are many impersonators. There are many counterfeits. Yes, there are. But there are not many who are truly born of Ruach. There are not many. Because they're not willing to do what it takes to be born of Ruach. They're not hungering and thirsting for righteousness. They're not hungering and thirsting for the pure, unadulterated truth. They're hungering and thirsting for things like knowledge and position and importance. They are hungering and thirsting for history. They are hungering and thirsting for genealogy. And because they're not hungering and thirsting for righteousness, they're not being filled. Indeed, the words of the Mashiach, the HaMashiach are these: those who hunger and thirst for righteousness shall be filled. They shall be filled. Only they, and there's not many. There's not many who hunger and thirst for righteousness, where they wake up out of their beds with righteousness on their minds, just wanting to do righteousness. They go to bed at night just wanting to do righteousness, just hungering and thirsting for righteousness. There is a burning deep within them, a burning deep within their heart just to do righteousness. I just want to do what's right. I just want to do righteousness at all costs without compromise. I just want to do righteousness. I hate this world. I hate all that is in it. I hate the status quo. I hate normalcy. I just want to do righteousness. I just want to do righteousness. Righteousness is always on my mind. Always on my mind. I just want to do what pleases you. There ain't many who have that mindset. There are not many. There's very few. Most want to compromise. They want to compromise. And the text declares that those who want to compromise, he's going to spew them out of his mouth, because if you compromise, it means you're lukewarm. You can't walk this ancient path being lukewarm. You can't walk this ancient path being a mixture. You're disobeying Torah. The Torah declares, do not mix diverse seeds. That's what it said. That's what it said. Do you not understand that the Torah is practical instructions that have a deep to teach, in order to teach his people a deeper spiritual meaning? It's practical instructions, rather, to teach his children deeper spiritual matters. Don't mix diverse seed. That's what the Torah says. That's what the Torah says. But many want to mix diverse seed. They want to mix it. They want to mix it because they hunger and thirst for knowledge. They don't hunger and thirst for righteousness. And so they want to mix diverse seed, and they think they're on the ancient path, but you ain't. You're on that broad one. You're on that broad one, because on this ancient path, see, this is the pure path. Yes, it is. This is the perfect path. This is the pure path, that it has no mixtures in it. It's pure. There is no mixtures in this path. You can't mix anything on this path. It's pure. It's for the pure in heart. It's for the perfect in the way. Can't mix anything and go here. You're violating Torah. You're mixing diverse seed, and you're on the broad path thinking that you're on the ancient one, but you're not. You're not. And so he's shown us firstborn according to the Ruach, firstborn according to the flesh, two manner of people. There is no in between. And he's shown us the characteristics of each. He's shown us the characteristics of each and how to identify each one. Lately, he has shown us that if you want to be perfect, that you have to serve. That you have to serve. If you want to be perfect, then you must serve. Indeed, that's the servant's role. All of our ancient fathers were servants. All of them, starting with Adam, all of them were servants, down to the Hamashiach himself. All were servants. And he has shown us that if we desire to be perfect, that we must serve. We must be servants. And if we desire to be exalted, that we must serve. Indeed, he will exalt. All those who humble themselves will be exalted. All those who exalt themselves will be humbled. So if we desire to have that scepter, if we desire to wear a crown, if we desire to sit on thrones, we must first serve. We must first serve, because only the perfect in the way are going to receive crowns and are going to sit on thrones and are going to enter into life and are going to rule the nations with a rod of iron. Only the perfect in the way. And so he's showing us, if you want to be perfect, serve. Serve. You can't get around serving. He's shown us that indeed serving is the foundation of salvation. Serving, being a servant, being a meek and lowly and humble servant is the foundation of salvation. It is the foundation of being exalted. We cannot get to where we want to go. We cannot get to Mount Zion unless we are servants. You want to be perfect, serve. And the level of service that is required of us, that perfection cannot be accomplished in the flesh. It cannot be accomplished in the flesh. And so if you're taking notes, this is searching for the ancient path, part 38. Just serve. Just serve. Searching for the ancient path, part 38. Just serve. Just serve. I'm reminded of a young man who had lots of riches. Text declares that he had many possessions. And he encountered the Hamashiach and asked him, what must I do to be saved? What must I do to enter into life? The Master Yahushua began to recount the commandments to him. And the young man declared, Teacher, Master, all these I have done since I was young, since I was a youth. Master declared to him, yea, but you lack one thing. He said, go and sell all that you have. Go give up all. Give up all. Go sell all that you have. But let me back up. He said, if you want to be perfect. He said, if you want to be perfect, go sell all you have. Give it to the poor. Then come and follow me. In other words, go sell all you have. If you want to be perfect, go sell all you have. Give it to the poor and come and become a servant. Come and become a servant. Come and follow me. If you want to be perfect, serve. Serve. Go, he said, go sell all you have and give it to the poor if you want to be perfect. And then come and follow me. Come and become a servant. Come and become a servant. And so he has now shown us that you want to be perfect. You want to be perfect. You got to serve. You got to serve. And you got to be willing to give up all. You've got to be willing to give up all and just serve. Just serve. No different than any of our ancient righteous fathers. They were just servants who just served. All the way down to the Hamashiach himself. He came not to be served, but to serve. He just came to just serve. To just serve. You want to be perfect? You want to enter into life? You want to be exalted? Just serve. You want salvation? Just serve. You want to be perfect? Just serve. Put your brother before yourself. Put your sister before yourself. Humble yourself and just serve. Just serve. This is the foundation of salvation. This is perfection. This is being perfect. Just serve. I recount these words to you again. If you want to be perfect, sell all you have. Give it to the poor. Come and follow me. Be a servant. Be a servant. Then you'll be perfect. Then you'll be perfect. Picking up this thought, I've been looking at Yahushua, who did what? Who just served. He just served. For 13 years, he just served. He just served. And through his example, Yahuwah has shown us that, see, this is what it looks like. You just serve if you want to be exalted, if you want to be a ruler, if you want that crown. There are many walking around talking about we're kings, we're sovereigns, we're queens. No, you're not. You're a servant. You're a servant. None of us are exalted yet. You are a servant. You want to be, you want to rule, you better serve. You serve. You humble yourself. You lower yourself. You be a servant. You take the position of a lowly servant. This is perfection. And only here will you be exalted as a ruler. None of us are kings or sovereigns. We're servants. We're servants. And we do not exalt ourselves. We walk uprightly before all men in Elohim, serving one another in meekness and lowliness and humbleness of heart. This is the character and nature of Yahuwah. And this is the character and nature of his firstborn son. And so picking up this thought, we may get to Yahushua today and finish up on Yahushua. We only got a few more chapters to look at Yahushua. I think we got the foundation of it, however, already. But I want to finish up in reading about and looking at Yahushua, because we are eventually going back to the book of Genesis, and we're going to pick this up again. But I wanted to read more text so that we could fill in the spaces of what Genesis doesn't tell us. And so we're eventually going to go back to that, and we're going to continue looking at the nature and the character of Joseph or Yahushua, and not just him, but we're going to look at the character and nature of many of our ancient righteous fathers walking along this ancient path. But the one thing that you're going to find that they all had in common is that they were all servants. They were all servants, and they were also all patient. They were all patient. This is another lesson that Abba has taught us with respect to the characteristics of being a firstborn son, and that is to have patience. Can't be a servant and not be patient. You can't be perfect and not be patient. You cannot be perfect and not be patient. So prayerfully, we'll get to Yahushua today, but if not, perhaps Yahuwah willing, we'll pick him back up on the fourth day. If not, perhaps next Shabbat. Next Shabbat, Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. But for now, Barak Yahuwah, let's look at service. Let's continue to look at service. Let's continue to look at service. You want to be perfect? Serve. You want to be perfect? Serve. Just serve. Just serve. Just serve. Just serving is going to get us to Mount Zion. Because the text declares in Revelation chapter 14 that the ones that appeared there are the ones that did what? That were blameless before him. That means that they were perfect. And they followed the Lamb's voice wherever he led them. They were servants. They are servants. They are servants, and they are perfect. They are perfect. So just serving is going to get us to Mount Zion. Just serving is the servant's path, is the ancient path, which leads to everlasting life and which leads to Mount Zion. And which leads to Mount Zion. And so picking up this thought, let's look at serving. Let's take a deeper look at serving, and let's look at the book of 1 Kings, the 17th chapter. 1 Kings, the 17th chapter.
1 through 24.
Verses 1 through 24. I believe that's the entire chapter, isn't it, little one?
I do believe so.
Barak Yahuwah. 1 Kings, the 17th chapter. Malachim Alaf. Malachim Alaf. 1 Kings, chapter 17. 1 Kings, chapter 17. Beginning at verse 1. Read, little one.
And Elihu, the Tishbatit of the inhabitants of Galad, said to Achab, As Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharal lives, by whom I stand, there shall be no dew or rain these years except at my word. And the word of Yahuwah came to him, saying, Go away from here and turn eastward, and hide by the Yadi Karuth.
And hide by the Yadi Karuth. Now this servant, this righteous servant, Yahuwah spoke through him, saying, By my word, there ain't going to be no rain in this land for 3.5 years. Shama ain't going to shut up, because Yahuwah listens to me. He comes when I call. He hears my voice. He listens to me. He listens to me. Many are worrying about things to come, about the famine and the scarcity of food to come. But see, this servant here, he says, by my word, ain't no rain going to fall on this land. And so as a result, we understand that there was famine, there was drought, people were hungry, people were starving to death because of transgression. And that same drought and scarcity of food is coming to this earth because of transgression of Torah. It's coming back. People worrying about lakes turning to blood in Turkey, and a word about the coronavirus, and word about what they should and what they should not eat. But Abba is saying, just serve. Just serve. There was no rain for 3.5 years. But what did Abba do, little one? What did he say to him? He says, get away from here and do what?
Go away from here and turn eastward.
Uh-huh.
And hide by the Wadi Karuth,
Uh-huh.
which flows into the Yarden.
Yes.
And it shall be that you drink from the stream.
Uh-huh.
And I shall command the ravens to feed you there.
Oh, Barak Yahuwah. So while there's drought going on everywhere else, while people are scurrying and worrying about this coronavirus and buying up all the water off the shelf, Barak Yahuwah, Abba had a nice, cool spot picked out for this righteous servant. Who was what? Who was just serving. Who was just serving. He said, you go by here and you drink. And I'm going to send these birds to feed you while there's drought and famine going on in the land. But I'm going to take care of you because you just serving. You just serving. You want salvation? You want deliverance? You want to be perfect? You want protection? You want the protection of Abba? Just serve. Just serve. Come on, read, little one.
And he went and did according to the word of Yahuwah.
Uh-huh.
For he went and dwelt by the Yadi Karuth,
Uh-huh.
which flows into the Yarden.
Uh-huh.
And the ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning,
Uh-huh.
and bread and meat in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And he drank from the stream.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to be after a while that the stream dried up,
Uh-huh.
because there had been no rain in the land.
Oh, but he's still serving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Barak Yahuwah. What happened?
Then the word of Yahuwah came to him, saying, rise up, go to Saraphath,
Uh-huh.
which belongs to Zadun,
Yes.
and dwell there.
Mm-hmm.
See, I have commanded a widow there to sustain you.
Why? Because he was just serving. He was just serving. Come on, read.
And he rose up and went to Zarephath,
Uh-huh.
and came to the gate of the city and saw a widow there gathering sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And he called and said to her, please bring me a little water in a vessel to drink.
Oh, come on, read.
And as she was going to get it, he
Yes.
called and said to her, please bring me a piece of bread in your hand.
Yes.
And she said, as Yahuwah your Elohim lives,
Uh-huh.
I do not have bread,
Uh-huh.
only a handful of flour in a bin,
Uh-huh.
and a little oil in a jar.
Yes.
And see, I am gathering a couple of sticks and shall go in and prepare it for myself.
Then I'm going to die. Come
and
on,
my
read.
son,
Uh-huh.
and we shall eat it and die.
Uh-huh.
And Eliyahu said to her, do not fear.
Yeah.
Go and do as you have said,
Uh-huh.
but make me a small cake from it first.
Oh, don't fear, widow. Don't fear. I hear what you're saying. I hear that you only got a little bit of flour and you're getting ready to make some bread and you and your son going to eat and you're going to die. I hear all that, but go and make mine first. Go make mine first. In other words, go just serve. You just serve and don't worry about nothing else. Just go serve. I'm here because the Elohim of Shamayim has sent me here because I'm just serving. And if you just serve me, whom the Elohim of heaven has sent me here for you to sustain me for the rest of these years during the drought, then guess what? You're going to be all right too because you're just serving me. You just serving the man of Elohim. Just serve. Just serve. Come on, read, little one.
And bring it to me.
Uh-huh.
And afterward make some for yourself and your son.
Yes.
For thus says Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharal.
Come on.
The bin of flour shall not be used up,
Shall not be used up.
nor the jar of oil run dry,
Nor the jar of oil run dry.
until the day Yahuwah sends rain on the earth.
Until the day Yahuwah sends rain on the earth. Why? Just serving. Because they were just serving. Just serve. This righteous, perfect man was just serving. And Yahuwah took care of him. He took care of him. And he, Baruch, blessed that widow for the sake of his righteous servant who was just a servant. Come on, read, little one.
So she went and did according to the word of Eliyahu.
Mm-hmm.
And she and he and her household ate for many days.
Uh-huh.
The bin of flour was not used up, nor did the jar of oil run dry, according to the word of Yahuwah, which he spoke by Eliyahu.
Uh-huh.
And after these events, it came to be that the son of the woman who owned the house became sick.
Yes.
And his sickness was very severe,
Oh, come
until
on.
there was no breath left in him.
Uh-huh.
And she said to Eliyahu, what have I to do with you, O man of Elohim? Have you come to me to bring my crookedness to be remembered and to kill my son? And he said to her, give me your son.
Yes.
So he took him from her arms and took him to the upper room where he was dwelling and laid him on his own bed and cried out to Yahuwah and said, O Yahuwah my Elohim, have you also brought evil on the widow with whom I'm sojourning to kill her son? And he stretched himself out on the child 3 times and cried out to Yahuwah and said, O Yahuwah my Elohim, I pray let the life of this child come back to him. And Yahuwah heard the voice of Eliyahu, and the life of the child came back to him, and he lived. And Eliyahu took the child and brought him down from the upper room into the house and gave him to his mother. And Eliyahu said, see, your son lives. And the woman said to Eliyahu, now by this I know that you are a man of Elohim, and that the word of Yahuwah in your mouth is truth.
Barak Yahuwah. Now, because this woman was a servant, listen. There are many who are not raised from the dead. There are more who are not raised from the dead that are raised from the dead. There are more who remain sick than there are those who are healed from sickness. I pray you understand. Because this woman served, because she was a servant, salvation came to her house. And her son was raised from the dead. Abba is saying to us, Mashpaka, just serve. You want to be perfect? You want salvation? You want to be healed? Just serve. Just serve. You want to make it to Mount Zion? Just serve. Just serve. Don't worry about nothing else. Don't worry about nothing else. Don't worry about your current circumstance. Don't worry about affliction. Don't worry about what you're going through. Don't worry about what's going on in this wicked world. Just serve. Just serve. If you're down to 1 loaf of bread in your house, I know a man who fed 5,000. Just serve. Just serve. What does Matthew 6 say, little one?
Matthew 6:24-33.
Matthew 6:24-33. Come on, little one, read.
No one is able to serve 2 masters.
Yes.
For either he shall hate the one and love the other.
Yes.
Or else he shall cleave to the one and despise the other.
Yes.
You are not able to serve Elohim and Mammon.
Whoa! There's that word serve again, ain't it, little one? You ain't able to serve Elohim and Mammon. You double-minded. Who are you serving? Either you are a servant of sin which leads to death, or you're a servant of righteousness that leads to everlasting life. Just serve. Just serve. Keep your eyes focused on your service, on your job. Just serve. And if you're serving, then you're on the ancient path. You're on the ancient path which leads to everlasting life and which will lead to Mount Zion. Come on, read, little one.
Because of this, I say to you, do not worry about your life.
Don't worry about your life.
What you shall eat or drink. Or about your body.
Yes.
What you shall put on. Is not life more than the food?
It's not life more than the food. Come on.
And the body more than clothing.
And the body more than clothing.
Look at the birds of the heaven.
Yes.
For they neither sow nor reap. Nor gather into storehouses.
Yes.
Yet your heavenly Father does feed them.
Yes.
Are you not worth more than they?
Are you not worth more than they? Come on.
And which of you by worrying is able to add 1 cubit to his lifespan? So why do you worry about clothing?
Why do you worry? Read.
Note well the lilies of the field, how they grow.
Yes.
They neither toil nor spin.
Yes.
And I say to you that even Shalama in all his esteem was not dressed like one of these. But if Elohim so clothes the grass of the field, which exists today and tomorrow is thrown into the furnace, how much more, O you of little belief? Do not worry then, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear?
Yes.
For all these the nations seek for.
All these the nations seek for. Are you a nation? Are you a Gentile? Oh, we know you by your fruit. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Come on, read, little one.
And your heavenly Father knows that you need all of these.
Yes.
But seek first the reign of Elohim.
But what?
But seek first the reign of Elohim and his righteousness.
Yes.
And these shall be added unto you.
Oh, in other words, just serve. Just serve. Righteousness is service. But seek first the kingdom of Shamayim, or heaven, and all its righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Just serve. Don't worry about this. Just serve. Because if you're serving, you're perfect. Even as your Father and Shamayim is perfect. And that means you ain't got to worry about any of this stuff. No different than all Yahu, who was just serving and who was cared for during a time of drought and during a time of famine. Just serve. Just serve. This is the servant's road. This ancient path is the servant's road. And if you want to make it to the end of this road, to Mount Zion, then you must serve. You must serve. Come on, read, little one.
We got 1 Kings 19, 1 through 18.
Let's come back to all Yahu. I love him. Let's come back to all Yahu. 1 Kings chapter 19. 1 Kings chapter 19. Malachim Alaf chapter 19, verse 1 through 18. Right, little one? Barak Yahuwah. Malachim Alaf, 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 1 through 18. Verses 1 through 18. Beginning at verse 1. Come on, read, little one.
And when Akab reported to Izabal.
Let's give them a backdrop of this. We find this story picking up in Malachim Alaf of 1 Kings chapter 18. We find all Yahu having come back now after 3.5 years of no rain and drought upon the land. And he comes to Akab and tells him that there's going to be rain now. That the time of drought has passed. And he tells him, he says, bring all of these false prophets of Baal, these 450 prophets of Baal and these 400 prophets of Asherah, bring them up to Mount Karab, and let's have a showdown. Let's have a showdown. Let's find out who is Elohim. Let's find out who truly is Elohim in the land. Bring them up there. Oh, this righteous servant who was just serving went up there alone and faced down 850 false prophets all by himself. Oh, I'm reminded of Mark chapter 16. Towards the end when it says, and they went out proclaiming, and the master going with them and confirming the word that was proclaimed, Barak Yahuwah, through accompanying signs and wonders. Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah, this one righteous servant stood in the face of 850 false ones. And first he turned to Yasharal and he said, how long will you falter between two opinions? If Baal is Elohim, then worship him. But if Yahuwah is Elohim, then worship him. And the text declares that the people answered him not a word. They answered him not a word. I'm not going to recount the whole chapter, but you know the story. You know the story. Fire came down and consumed his offering, and they was cutting themselves and blood gushing, and they jumping up like foolish men, jumping around like foolish men until the sun went down and nothing happened. But when this righteous man called upon the name of Yahuwah, fire came down and consumed his offering and even lapped up the water that was around the altar. He then commanded the people to lay hold of all these false men and slay them with the sword. And 850 of them died that day. We now reach 1 Kings 19. Where Akab went back and related these matters to his witch wife, this Izabal, this witch. He recounted these matters to her because these were her prophets, because she was a prophetess. She was a high priestess in the temple of Baal. She was a witch. And so these priests, they ate around her table. They partook of her table. And she was angry that this man, that this servant of Yahuwah had slayed her false prophets. And so now we pick this up in Malachi Malach chapter 19, beginning at verse 1. Read, little one.
And when Achab reported to Izabal all that Eliyahu had done, also how he slew all the prophets with the sword, Izabal sent a messenger to Eliyahu, saying, so let the mighty ones do to me, and more also, if I do make your life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time.
This is a woman. This is a woman. This is a woman. A woman. This is a witch. And every time you see a woman operated in this like manner, she is an Izabal too. She is a witch. I don't care what you say. She is. You have a nature. You have a character. Talking just like she talks. You talk too much. You don't have a meek and quiet spirit. You talk too much. You don't have the spirit. You don't operate in the spirit of Shara or the spirit of Rebecca. You operating as an Izabal, just like this witch. Come on, read, little one.
And he feared and rose up and ran for his life, and went to Beersheba, which belongs to Yehuda, and left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness, and came and sat down under a broom tree, and prayed that he might die, and said, it is enough now, Yahuwah, take my life, for I am no better than my fathers. And he lay and slept under a broom tree. And see, a messenger touched him and said to him, rise, eat. And he looked and saw by his head a cake baked on coals and a jar of water. So he ate and drank and turned and lay down. And the messenger of Yahuwah came back the second time and touched him and said, rise, eat, for the journey is too much for you. And he rose up and ate and drank and went in the strength of that food 40 days and 40 nights, as far as Karab, the mountain of Elohim. And there he went into a cave and spent the night there. And see, the word of Yahuwah came to him and said, what are you doing here, Eliyahu?
What are you doing here, Yahoo? Come on.
And he said, I have been very jealous for Yahuwah Elohim of hosts.
Yeah.
For the children of Yasharal have forsaken your covenant.
They
have thrown down your slaughter places. And they have killed your prophets with the sword.
In other words, I have served you, Yahuwah. I've been very zealous for you. I have served you, and I alone am left, and they have killed your prophets with the sword, and I alone am left after serving you. Look at how I served you, and I am the only one left. Come on, read, little one.
And I am left, I alone, and they seek my life to take it. And he said, go out and stand on the mountain before Yahuwah, and see Yahuwah pass by. And a great and strong wind tearing the mountains and breaking the rocks in pieces before Yahuwah. Yahuwah was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake.
Yes.
Yahuwah was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire. Yahuwah was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. And it came to be when Eliyahu heard it, that he wrapped his face in his robe and went out and stood out at the cave opening. And see, a voice came to him and said, what are you doing here, Eliyahu?
What are you doing here, Yahoo? Come on.
And he said, I have been very jealous for Yahuwah Elohim of hosts.
I've served my Elohim. Come on.
For the children of Yasharal have forsaken your covenant. They have thrown down your slaughter places. And they have killed your prophets with the sword.
Yes.
And I am left, I alone. And they seek my life to take it. And Yahuwah said to him, go, return on your way to the wilderness of Damasak.
In other words, he says, Yahoo, just serve. Just serve. Don't you worry about this witch. Keep your eyes fixed on me and I destroy. You are my servant. Just serve. Now go where? Come on, little one.
Go, return on your way to the wilderness of Damasak.
Yes.
And you shall go in and anoint Kaza'al as sovereign over Aram.
Yes.
And anoint Yahu.
Yes.
Son of Namshah as sovereign over Yasharal.
Yes.
And anoint Elisha.
Yes.
Son of Shaphat of Abal Makalah.
Yes.
As prophet in your place.
You just serve. I'm going to take care of them. You just serve. And watch my strong hand deliver. You just serve. Come on.
And it shall be that whoever escapes the sword of Khaza'al,
I got
Yahu does kill.
Uh-huh.
And whoever escapes from the sword of Yahu,
yes,
Elisha does kill.
Yes.
And I shall leave 7,000 in Yasharal,
yes,
all whose knees have not bowed down to Baal, and every mouth that has not kissed him.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah. You just serve. You just serve. Don't look to your right or to your left. You just serve. I got this. I got this witch. You just serve. You just serve. You just be a servant. You just be perfect before me in your service. You just serve. As I provided food for you, as I brought down fire from Shamayim, I'm going to take care of this witch. Focus on me and I destroy. You just serve. You just serve. You want salvation? You want deliverance? You want Abba to fight for you? Just serve. Just serve. Because it is the perfect in heart that he answers. And it is the perfect in heart that are going to enter into life. The perfect in heart are meek and humble and lowly. They are servants walking this ancient path, walking the servant's path. You want to be perfect? Just serve. You want salvation? Just serve. You want deliverance? You want healing? You want to make it to Mount Zion? Just serve. This is the ancient path. Just serve. Come on, little one.
Acts 9:36-42.
Acts Ma'asai. Acts Ma'asai, chapter 9.
36-42.
Verses 36-42. Acts Ma'asai, chapter 9, verses 36-42. Acts Ma'asai, chapter 9, verses 36-42. Beginning at verse 36, read, little one.
And in Yafu, there was a certain taught one named Tabitha, which means Darkas. This woman was filled with good works and kind deeds, which she did.
She was a servant. She was a servant. Yes, she was. She just read the text. Tabitha was a servant. Yes, she was. She was a servant. Read, little one.
And it came to be in those days that she became sick and died. And having washed her, they laid her in an upper room. And Lud being near to Yafu. And the tall ones having heard that Kapha was there, they sent 2 men to him, urging him not to delay in coming to them. And having risen up, Kapha went with them. And when he arrived, they brought him to the upper room. And all the widows stood beside him weeping, and showing the inner garments and outer garments which Darkas had made while she was with them. But Kapha sent them all out and knelt down and prayed. And turning to the body, he said, Tabitha, arise. And she opened her eyes, and seeing Kapha, she sat up. And giving her his hand, he lifted her up. And calling the Kadush ones and widows, he presented her alive, and it became known throughout all Yafu, and many believed on the master.
Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. So now we see a common theme, a common thread. The son of the widow was raised because the widow served all Yahu, served the man of Yahuwah. And so her son was raised from the dead. You see, I pray you're seeing the common theme. Salvation comes to those who serve. Salvation comes to those who serve. There are more who are not raised from the dead than there are those who are raised from the dead. Salvation comes to those who serve. Tabitha was a servant. She was a servant, and salvation came. She was raised from the dead. She was raised from the dead because she served. Because she served. They don't believe it yet, little one. Before you read that next precept, I bring their attention, though, to Al-Azhar, to Lazarus. And the text declares in the book of Yahukan and the John that this was the one that Yahusha loved. If Yahusha loved him, it means what? That he obeyed his commandments? That he was a servant? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Al-Azhar was a servant, and Al-Azhar was raised from the dead. Salvation comes to those who serve. You want salvation. You want deliverance. You want healing. You want to make it to Mount Zion. You want to make it back to the land. You want to make it home. You want to be perfect. Just serve. Just serve. Come on, little one.
2 Kings 4:8-37.
2 Kings. Malachim Bat. What verses? What chapter?
4:8-37.
Chapter 4, verses 8 through 37. 2 Kings chapter 4, verses 8 through 37. Malachim Bat chapter 4, verses 8 through 37. Beginning at verse 8. Read, little one.
And it came to be on a day that Elisha went to Shunem, where there was a prominent woman, and she took hold of him to eat some food.
She served him, didn't she, little one? She served him, right?
Yes.
Barak Yahuwah. She took hold of him. Come on, let me fix you something to eat, man of Yah. Come on, let me feed you, man of Yahuwah. Come on in here. It's just like them old mothers that would grab you by the arm. Come on in here and get something to eat. Look like you're losing weight. Come on in here and eat something. She grabbed this man of Yahuwah. Come on in here and eat something. I got you. I'm going to serve you. Read.
And it came to be as often as he passed by that he turned in there to eat some food. And she said to her husband, look, I know that this is a Kadush man of Elohim who passes by us continually. Please let us make a small upper room on the wall and let us put a bed for him there and a table and a chair and a lampstand.
Sound like she's still serving him, little one. Still serving. Now she want to build him a room. Wasn't enough that she fed him every time he passed by. Now she building him a room. Or they are building him a room. Or she's beseeching her husband to build him a room so that not only he can eat there now, but that he can stay there when he passes through. She just wants to serve him for no other reason than just to serve, knowing that this is a man of Elohim, and she wants to serve him as though she is serving Elohim. Barak Yahuwah. Come on, read, little one.
And it shall be whenever he comes to us, let him turn in there. And it came to be on a day that he came there, and he turned into the upper room and lay down there. And he said to Gakaz, his servant, call this Shunammite woman. So he called her, and she stood before him. And he said to him, please say to her, look, you have gone to all this trouble for us. What is there to be done for you?
You have served me. Now, what do you want? What do you want? Listen, Yahusha says in the book of Revelation, he says, behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give to each according to their works, to their service. So here, you have served me. I want to reward you. Yahuwah wants to reward you through me for your service, for your work. What is it that you desire? You want to enter into life? You want that reward? Serve. Serve. You want to be perfect? Serve. You want to get to Mount Zion? Serve. Come on, little one.
Should I speak on your behalf to the sovereign or to the commander of the army? And she answered, I am dwelling among my own people. And he said, what then is there to be done for her? And Gakaz answered, well, she has no son, and her husband is old. And he said, call her. So he called her, and she stood in the doorway, and he said, about this appointed time next year, you shall embrace a son. And she said, no, my master, man of Elohim, do not lie to your female servant. And the woman conceived and bore a son when the appointed time had come, of which Elisha had spoken to her. And the child grew. And it came to be on a day that he went out to his father to the reapers, and he said to his father, my head, my head. And he said to a servant, take him to his mother. So he took him and brought him to his mother. And he sat on her knees till noon and died. And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of Elohim and shut the door on him and went out. And she called to her husband and said, please send me one of the young men and one of the donkeys so that I hurry to the man of Elohim and return. And he said, why are you going to him today? It is neither the new month nor the Shabbat. And she said, "It is well." And she saddled the donkey and said to her servant, "Drive and go, and do not slow down, except I speak to you." And she went and came to the man of Elohim at Mount Carmel. And it came to be, when the man of Elohim saw her at a distance, that he said to his servant Gakad, "See the Shunammite woman. Please run now to meet her and say to her, is it well with you? Is it well with your husband? Is it well with your child?" And she answered, "It is well." And she came to the man of Elohim at the hill, and she took hold of him by the feet. But Gakad came near to push her away. But the man of Elohim said, "Leave her alone, for her being is bitter in her, and Yahuwah has hidden it from me and has not revealed it to me." And she said, "Did I ask a son of my master? Did I say, do not deceive me?" And he said to Gakad, "Gird up your loins and take my staff in your hand and go. When you meet anyone, do not greet him. And when anyone greets you, do not answer him. And you shall lay my staff on the face of the child." And the mother of the child said, "As Yahuwah lives and as your being lives, I do not leave you." And he rose up and followed her. And Gakad went on ahead of them and laid the staff on the face of the child. But there was no voice and there was no hearing. So he went back to meet him and reported to him, saying, "The child has not awakened." And Elisha came into the house and saw the child was dead, laying on his bed. And he went in and shut the door behind the two of him and prayed to them. And he went up and lay on the child and put his mouth on his mouth and his eyes on his eyes, and stretched his hands on his hands and stretched himself out on the child. And the flesh of the child became warm, and he returned and walked back and forth in the house, then went up and stretched himself out on him. And the child sneezed 7 times, and the child opened his eyes. And he called Gaza and said, "Call this Shunammite." So he called her, and she came into him, and he said, "Pick up your son." Then she went in and fell at his feet and bowed herself to the ground and picked up her son and went out.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah, line upon line, precept upon precept, giving examples of what happens when you serve. She saw this man of Elohim walking through, and every time he walked through, she grabbed him by the arm. "Come on here and get something to eat. You're looking thin. Come on, get something to eat." After a while, she went to her husband and appealed to her husband. "Listen, let's build a room for this man of Elohim. Let's not only feed him, but let's shelter him when he comes through, because he is a servant, and I want to serve him, because we ought to serve one another, and we ought to serve him." And so this man Elohim, understanding, having the mind of Yahuwah, understanding that Yahuwah rewards service. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I say to you again that there are far more who are not raised from the dead than there are those who are raised from the dead. This man of Elohim, knowing the mind of Yahuwah, because he has the Ruach of Elohim in him, says, "What is it that you desire? I want to reward you." Elohim, Yahuwah, wants to reward you for your service. The servant came back and told him that the woman has no child. We know the story. The text was just read. She conceived and she bore a child, and the child died. The child died, and she ran to the man of Elohim and beseeched him and fell before his feet. The man of Elohim followed her before that, sending his servant to lay his staff upon the child before his breath left, before the Ruach left. He went and placed his staff upon him. Placed the staff upon the child, and he came and laid upon the child and stretched himself upon the child, and the child breathed again, and the child lived. Because this woman was a servant, because she served, deliverance, salvation, healing came to her house. Deliverance, salvation, healing came to her house. You want to be healed. You want deliverance. You want to enter into the land. You want to be perfect. You want to get to Mount Zion. Just serve. Just serve. Just serve. Service is obedience. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but service is obedience. But just serve. Just serve. You want to be perfect. Just serve. You want to walk in the perfect way, the ancient path. This is the servant's path. Just serve. Read, little one.
We have Luke 4:38 to 39.
Lucas chapter 4,
38 to 39.
verses 38 through 39. Lucas chapter 4, verses 38 through 39. Lucas chapter 4, verses 38 to 39. Lucas chapter 4, verses 38 to 39. I call your attention. I have to say this. I have to keep repeating this, that the level of service, of righteousness, of perfection that is required of us, it cannot be accomplished in the flesh. It cannot. It cannot be accomplished in the flesh. And Yahuwah is going to show us why it cannot be accomplished in the flesh. He's going to show us as we give that further down below. He's going to show us why it cannot be accomplished in the flesh. Lucas chapter 4, verses 38 through 39. Beginning at verse 38, read, little one.
And rising up from the congregation, he went into the house of Shamma'un.
Yes.
But the mother-in-law of Shamma'un was sick with a severe inflammation. And they asked him concerning her.
That's Shamma'un. In other words, that's Peter, right? That's Simon. Was he not a servant?
Yes, he was.
Was he a servant, little one?
Yes, he was. Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah. Keep reading.
And standing over her, he rebuked the inflammation. And it left her. And instantly rising up, she served them.
Whoa, wait, little one. So she was sick, laying on the bed, couldn't get up. And so for the sake of his servant Kapha, he went in there and rebuked the fever, rebuked the inflammation. And what did she do?
And it left her, and instantly rising up, she served.
She served. She served. You want to be perfect in the way, in the ancient way, in the ancient path, just serve. Just serve. Just serve. Come on, read, little one.
We got Luke 7, 1 through 10.
Luke 7, 1 through 10. Lucas chapter 7, 1 through 10. Lucas chapter 7, 1 through 10. Lucas chapter 7, 1 through 10. Barak Yahuwah. I recall, little one, while they're turning the net, that for the sake of Abraham, his servant, that he saved Lot. He saved Lut. For the sake of Abraham, his servant, he saved Lut. You want deliverance? You want deliverance of your family? Just serve. Just serve. You want to be perfect? Just serve. You want salvation? Just serve. You want to be exalted? Just serve. You want to get to Mount Zion? Just serve. Can't walk this ancient path, which is the servant's path, without serving. Luke chapter 7, verse 1 through 10. Beginning at verse 1. Read, little one.
And when he completed all his words in the hearing of the people, he went into Capharnaum. And a certain captain's servant who was valuable to him was sick and about to die.
Wait a minute. A certain captain's what?
Captain's servant.
This man was a servant. The one that was sick was a servant. Said, can you make this up?
No, sir.
So the one that was sick was a servant. What about the captain? Keep reading, little one.
He went into Capharnaum, and a certain captain's servant who was valuable to him was sick and about to die. And hearing about Yahusha, he sent elders of the Yahudim to him, asking him to come and heal his servant.
Listen to what the elders say. Read.
And when they came to Yahusha, they begged him earnestly, saying, he is worthy.
Oh, he is what?
He is worthy.
Why is he worthy, little one?
Because he's a servant.
Because he's a servant. Barak Yahuwah. Come on, read.
He is worthy for you to grant this to him. For he loves our nation.
For he loves our nation.
And has built a congregation for us.
And has built a congregation for us. He served them. He too was a servant. He too was a servant. Oh, you can't make it up. I pray you're getting this. Come on, read, little one.
So Yahusha went with them. However, he was not far from the house when the captain sent friends to him, saying to him, Master, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy that you should come under my roof. For this reason, I did not even think myself worthy to come to you. But say a word, and my servant shall be healed. For I too am a man appointed under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to one, go, and he goes. and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does. And when Yahusha heard this, he marveled at him and turned around and said to the crowd that followed him, I say to you, not even in Yasharal have I found such great belief. And those who were sent returning to the house found the servant who had been sick in good health.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. You can't make this up. So a servant was sick and on his deathbed. And Yahusha and the elders came to Yahusha begging that he go there because his master was also a servant. So Yahusha healed the servant for the sake of his master, who was also a servant. You can't make this up. You want deliverance? You want salvation? You want healing? Just serve. Just serve. You want to be perfect? Just serve. I recall another Gentile in the book of Acts. I think it's around Acts chapter 8. By the name of Cornelius, who also was a servant. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He served the Yahudim in the same way that this man did. He was a servant. And I recall that what? That didn't salvation come to his house? Because the man was a servant. Because the man was a servant. You want deliverance, you want salvation, you want to walk the ancient path? Just serve. Just serve. Come on, little one.
We got Luke 12, 42 to 48.
Luke 12, 42 to 48. Luke 12, 42 to 48. Luke 12, 42 to 48. Luke 12, 42 to 48. Beginning at verse 42. Read, little one.
And the master said, who then is the trustworthy and wise manager?
Who then is a trustworthy and wise manager? Come on.
Whom his master shall appoint over his household.
Yes.
To give the portion of food in due season.
Blessed
is that servant whom his master shall find so doing when he comes. Truly I say to you that he shall appoint him over all his possessions.
You want to be exalted? Serve. You can't be exalted without humbling yourself. You can't be exalted without serving. You want to be perfect? Serve. Come on, read, little one.
But if that servant says in his heart, my master is delaying his coming, and begins to beat the male servants and female servants, and to eat and drink and be drunk, the master of that servant shall come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour that he does not know, and shall cut him in two and appoint his portion.
He's going to cut him in two because he ain't a servant. He wasn't serving. That's why he's going to be cut in two, because he wasn't serving. You want to live? Serve one another. Serve Yahuwah, serve one another. Come on, read, little one.
With the unbelievers. And that servant who knew his master's desire and did not prepare, nor did according to his desire, shall be beaten with many stripes. But he who did not know, yet did what deserved flogging, shall be beaten with few. And everyone to whom much is given, from him much shall be demanded. And to whom much has been entrusted, from him much more shall be asked.
Yes. To whom much is given, much is required. To whom much is given, much is required. What is given to us is given to us for the purposes of serving. Of serving. What is given to us is given to us for the purposes of serving. So serve. Serve. This is not optional. This is mandatory. This is the ancient path. Serve. From the time of Adam to now, we are to serve. Not only from the time of Adam until now, but from the time the very first Malachim was created in Shamayim. They were created to do what? To serve. To serve. But from the day that mankind was created, we were created to serve. We were created to serve. So whatever Abba has given you, whatever he has given you, just serve. Just serve. Don't worry about your circumstance. Don't worry about affliction. Don't worry about what's going on in the world. You are a servant. Just serve. A servant is not concerned about what's going on around him. His desire is to do the desire of his master. He has no will of his own. His will is his master's will. Just serve. Just serve. Quit concerning yourself with what's going on and just serve. Just serve. And as he took care of these righteous servants, As he took care of all Yahoo, he'll take care of us. Just serve. Just serve. Come on, little one, read.
Luke 17, 7 through 10.
Luke 17, verses 7 through 10. Luke 17, verses 7 through 10. Luke 17, verses 7 through 10. Come on, read, little one.
But who of you, having a servant plowing or shepherding, would say to him when he has come in from the field,
Yes.
come immediately and sit down to eat?
So which one of you having a servant who was plowing, you can't make this up, little one, who was plowing, who planting seed, in other words. We know the seed is the word of Yahuwah. Who's planting or who is a shepherd, who was shepherding. Which one of you having a servant who was plowing or who is shepherding, having plowed and shepherded and having come in, what, little one?
Come immediately and sit down to eat.
Come immediately and sit down and eat. No, you're a servant. You don't come in here and sit down. You're a servant. Just serve. Just serve. How you going to eat before me? Just serve. Come on, read, little one.
But would he not rather say to him, prepare somewhat for my supper and gird yourself and serve me while I eat and drink? And afterward you shall eat and drink?
Yeah.
Would he thank that servant because he did what he was commanded?
Afterwards, in the millennial reign, we going to eat. We're going to sit down with the master and eat with him. Not until then. Until then, serve. If you want to get up in that first resurrection, if you want to be first fruit, if you want to get to Mount Zion, serve, shepherd, plant, sing, do whatever, operate in whatever capacity he has given you to serve one another, and just serve. And just serve. If you want to get to that banquet table, you got to serve. You got to serve. You ain't nothing but servants sitting down at that banquet table. You got to serve. The master himself that's sitting at the table, he served. That's how he's getting there, because he was highly exalted through his service. This is the ancient path. Serving. Just serve. Just serve without complaint, without looking to your right or to your left, without worry. Knowing that you're seeking first the kingdom of heaven and all of its righteousness, and everything just going to be added to you. Just serve. Just serve. Read, little one.
I think not. So also you, when you have done all that you were commanded, say,
yeah,
we are unworthy servants.
We are unworthy servants.
We have done what was our duty to do.
We have done what is our duty to do. In other words, just serve. Just serve. Hush. Be quiet. Just serve. Just serve. He opened not his mouth as he was led as a lamb to the slaughter. He opened not his mouth because he was just serving.
Thank you, Pastor.
He was just serving. Just serve. I'm going to keep saying this because I want this to be etched into your mind, into your heart. Just serve. Matter of fact, I want you to unmute your mics right now, and I want you to say it. Just serve. Say it. Just serve. Say it.
Just serve.
Yes,
Just
sir.
serve.
Yes, sir.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Just serve. Just serve. That's all. Just serve. Come on, little one. Give us another precept.
We got 2 Corinthians 6, 1 through 13.
2 Corinthians 6, verse 1 through 13. 2 Corinthians 6, verse 1 through 13. 2 Corinthians 6, verse 1 through 13. Give him just a minute to get there. Mm-hmm. We know Nakam Yah, he used the index. He like to use that index, little one.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah. 2 Corinthians 6,
1 through 13.
verse 1 through 13. Beginning at verse 1. Read, little one.
And working together, we also call upon you not to receive the favor of Elohim in vain. For he says, in an acceptable time I have heard you.
Yes.
And in a day of deliverance I have helped you. See, now is the well-accepted time. See, now is a day of deliverance, giving no cause of stumbling in whatever, so that the service is not blamed.
Oh, so that the what?
So that the service is not blamed.
So that the service is not blamed. Read, little one.
Rather, we commended ourselves as servants of Elohim.
Rather, we commended ourselves as what, little one?
Servants of Elohim.
As what?
Servants of Elohim.
Barak Yahuwah, read.
In every way, in much endurance.
And what?
In much endurance.
Oh, see, they think being a servant is easy. No. Just serve. Endure. Serve. Serve. Just serve. In much endurance, read.
Much endurance. In pressure.
Just serve. In pressure, read.
In hardship.
Just serve.
In distresses.
Just serve.
In stripes.
Just serve.
In imprisonment.
Just serve.
In disturbances.
Just serve.
In toil.
Just serve.
In watching.
Just serve.
In fasting.
Just serve.
In cleanliness.
Just serve.
In knowledge.
Just serve.
In patience.
Just serve.
In kindness.
Just serve.
In the Kadush Ruk.
Oh, serve.
In love unfeigned.
Just serve.
In the word of truth. In the power of Elohim.
Yes.
Through the weapons of righteousness.
Yes.
On the right and on the left. Through esteem and disrespect. Through evil report and good report.
Just serve.
Regarded as deceivers.
Just serve.
And yet true.
Just serve.
As unknown.
Just serve.
And yet well known.
Just serve.
As dying.
Just serve.
And see we live. As disciplined. And yet not killed.
Just serve.
As sad.
Just serve.
Yet always rejoicing.
As
poor.
Just serve.
Yet enriching many.
As
having none.
Just serve.
And yet possessing all.
Yes.
Our mouth has spoken openly to you.
Barak Yahuwah.
O Corinthians, our heart is wide open. You are not restrained by us, but you are restrained by your own affections. But for the same reward I speak as to children. Open wide your hearts too.
Just serve. This righteous servant Paul endured many hardships. Many hardships. This man endured many hardships. He was stoned. He was shipwrecked. He was bit by an adder. He was he endured starvation, hunger, and sleepless nights, and attacks from wild beasts, and attacks from his fellow countrymen. But he did not complain. He remained focused, and he just served. He just served. And a reward was stored up for him. This man's reward is going to be great. This man's reward is going to be great because he just served. He just served. When I read the writings of Paul, I get so angry when people call him false because they're ignorant and they don't understand the Torah. They don't understand the Ruach, the spirit of the Torah, and they blaspheme this man and they slander this man and speak falsely against him, and it angers me. It angers me so much because when I read the writings of this man, it's almost like I'm seeing the Hamashiach in this man. I'm seeing the Hamashiach in him. He served just like him unto death. He poured out his life. He poured out his blood to his brethren because he loved them. And he served them. He served his brethren. He served men unto death. He was a servant. He just served. And there is a crown stored up for him. There was a great reward stored up for this righteous servant. Just serve. Just serve. Read, little one.
We got 2 Corinthians 11, 18 to 33.
2 Corinthians 11, verses
18 to 33.
Verses 18 to 33. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 18 to 33. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 18 to 33. Beginning at verse 11. Beginning at verse, what is it, little one?
Verse 18.
Verse 18. Beginning at verse 18. Please read, little one.
Since many boast according to the flesh, I too shall boast.
Yes.
For you being wise put up with fools gladly.
Uh-huh.
For you put up with if anyone enslaves you.
Uh-huh.
If anyone devours you.
Uh-huh.
If anyone takes from you.
Uh-huh.
If anyone exalts himself.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone hits you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
To my shame I say that we were too weak for that.
Mm-hmm.
But in whatever anyone is bold, I say it in foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
I am bold also.
Mm-hmm.
Are they Hebrew?
Uh-huh.
So am I.
So am I.
Are they of Yasharal?
Yes.
So am I.
So am I.
Are they seed of Abraham?
Uh-huh.
So am I.
So am I.
Are they servants of Mashiach?
Yes.
I speak as beside myself.
Oh, whoa. Now. Yeah, they Hebrew. Sure enough. They fellow Yashraelim. Sure enough. Are they seed of Abraham? Yes, they are. But are they servants, little one? Are they servants of Mashiach? Are they servants? Come on, little one, read.
I am more and labors much more.
I am more a servant. I am more a servant. Yeah, I'm a Hebrew just like they are. Of the tribe of Benjamin, circumcised on the 8th day. I too am a fellow Yashraelim of the seed of Abraham. Yes, I am. But the thing that separates me from them, and I'm just, I'm only speaking this because you drew me into this. Because normally I'm a meek and lowly man, and I don't like even drawing attention to myself. But since you drew me into this, listen, I'm going to use this as an occasion to show you what matters. And that is to be a servant. To be a servant. That's all that matters. Your boasting in the flesh, your boasting in genealogy means nothing. The only thing that matters is being a servant. You want to be perfect? Serve. You want to enter into life? Serve. You want to walk this ancient path? Serve. You want to claim fellowship with the HaMashiach? Serve. Serve. Come on, read, little one.
In stripes above measure.
Listen here. He's just serving. He's just serving. Come on.
In prisons more frequently.
He's just serving.
In death many times.
He's just serving.
5 times I received from the Yahudim 40 stripes, less one.
Just serving.
3 times I was beaten with rods.
Just serving.
Once I was stoned.
Just serving.
3 times I was shipwrecked.
Just serving.
A night and a day I have been in the deep.
Just serving.
In many travels. In dangers of waters.
Just serving.
In dangers of robbers.
Just serving.
In dangers from my own race.
Just serving.
In dangers from the nations.
Just serving.
In dangers in the city.
Just serving.
In dangers in the desert.
Just serving.
In dangers in the sea.
Just serving.
In dangers among false brothers.
Just serving.
In toil and hardships.
Just serving.
In watchings often.
Just serving.
In hunger and thirst.
Just serving.
In fasting often.
Just serving.
In cold and nakedness.
Just serving.
Besides the matters from outside. What comes up upon me daily.
Yes.
The anxiety for all the assembly.
Oh, just serving.
Who is weak and I am not weak?
Just serving.
Who is made to stumble and I do not burn inwardly?
Just serving.
If I have to boast, I shall boast of the matters that show up my weakness. The Elohim and fathers of our master Yahushua Mashiach, who is blessed forever, knows that I am not lying. And Damasak, the governor under Artias, the sovereign, was guarding the city of the Damasakines, wishing to seize me. But through a window I was let down in a basket by the wall and escaped from his hands.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah. He's just a servant. Just a servant. Just serve. Just serve. Just serve. Don't complain. Don't look to your right or to your left. Don't worry about what's going on around you. That's got nothing to do with us. We're servants. We're servants. Our master, he sees all of that. Our master will take care of all of that. A master protects his servant. He will take care of all of that. We're just called to serve. We're just called to serve. He will feed us. He will clothe us. He will protect us. He will heal us. He will deliver us. He will lead us on the path of righteousness for his name's sake, which leads to Mount Zion. Just serve. Our master will do all of this. Just serve. Just serve. Just serve. And be perfect as he is perfect by just serving. Just serve. Come on, read, little one.
Love is perfection. Love is patient.
Love, mashpaka. Love is perfection. Love is perfection. Love is service. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because we're told that to love Elohim, we are to obey his commandments. And to love our neighbor as ourselves, then we are to obey his commandments. So to love Yahuwah means to obey his commandments. And to love our neighbor means to obey his commandments. To obey means to submit. To submit means to serve. When we obey his commandments, we are commanded to what? To obey them perfectly, to turn neither to the right or to the left. Love is perfect. Love is obedience. Love is service. Love is obeying the commandments of Yahuwah. Loving him and loving our neighbor is to obey his commandment. Love is perfection. Service, being a servant, is to love, and this is perfection. Love is patient. Love is patient, yes. Love is patient. A servant is patient. This is the ancient path. Love is patient. But hear him. Hear him. We're talking about perfection. We're talking about being a servant. We're talking about perfection. A servant loves. Yes, he does. That was just explained to you. And a servant is patient because love is patient. Here's the thing that separates, and here is why you and I can't do it in our flesh. In order to be perfect, we got to love all the time. No, you don't take a day off. No, you don't get to have a bad day. No. You don't get to have a bad day. That's no excuse. Get out your flesh. You got to love all the time. You got to be patient all the time. All the time. That's perfection. That's being a servant. That's perfection. Being patient all the time. Loving all the time. Here's that separation, you see. We're talking about the good tree that can't produce bad fruit. And the bad tree that can't produce good fruit. And we're talking about those who are born of Elohim cannot commit crime. No, we must be perfect. You got to be patient all the time. We got to love all the time. We got to be kind all the time. We got to be good all the time. We got to be trustworthy all the time. That's patience. That's perfection. That's walking the ancient path. That's walking the ancient path. Being a perfect servant. Being patient all the time. Loving all the time. Being kind and good all the time. This is the service that he rewards. This is the service that he rewards. I told you, we can't do this in the flesh. We can't do this in the flesh. You can't be patient all the time in the flesh, Mishpaka. None of us can. None of us can. I've tried it, Mishpaka. I've tried it. You can't be patient in the flesh. You can't do righteousness in the flesh. You can't be perfect in the flesh. You can't be a servant in the flesh. You can't walk the ancient path in the flesh. You want to be rewarded? You got to be perfect. You got to be a servant. You got to be a servant. You got to walk in the ruach. You got to love all the time. You got to be patient all the time. You got to be kind all the time. You got to be good all the time. What is impossible for man? It's not impossible for Yahuwah. We got to be born of a ruach. We got to be firstborn sons from above in order to be perfect and in order to be servants walking this ancient path. Read, little one.
We got 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8.
1 Corinthians chapter 13.
4 through 8.
4 through 8. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 8. Read, little one.
Love is patient.
Love is what?
Love is patient.
You got to be patient all the time. I told you love is service. Love is being a service because love is obeying his commandments. And to obey means to submit. To submit means to serve. And so to be a servant, which is love, we got to be patient. But we've got to be patient all the time. That's perfection. That's perfection. You see, I don't like using these analogies, but let's take a look at the game of baseball. And I don't watch baseball anymore, and I don't watch basketball anymore. But let's look at the game of baseball and basketball. When you got a batter, who bats 4 times and hits the ball and puts it in play 4 times, you see he's what? A perfect 4 for 4. He's perfect. He's a perfect 4 for 4. Or you take a basketball player who goes to the free throw line 20 times and he doesn't miss any, and he's a perfect 20 for 20. That's perfection. That's perfection. You can't do that in this. You cannot do this in this. Love is patient. That means you got to be patient all the time to be a servant, to be perfect. You got to be a servant. You got to be patient all the time. What else, little one?
Is kind.
Love is kind. You got to be kind all the time to walk the ancient path. I told you it wasn't easy. Don't many find this. Few find this. Very few find this ancient path. Very few can walk it. You got to be kind all the time. Come on, read, little one.
Love does not envy.
You can't never envy. You can if you stay in this wicked flesh. You will. You will. You will envy in this flesh. But if you're a servant, walking the ancient path, you don't envy. You don't envy. Come on, read, little one.
Love does not boast.
Love does not boast. Oh, some of you ought to be running for some fig leaves. Both on YouTube and here, some ought to be running for some fig leaves. This thing ain't easy. It's not easy. It ain't easy, and he taking away all excuses. He don't want none. He has told us he don't want no more excuses. He said no excuses. No excuses. He told us no excuses. He don't want them. If you're born of Ruach, he has taken away your excuses. You don't boast ever. You don't ever boast because you're meek and humble and lowly. You are a lowly servant. Come on, read, little one.
Is not puffed up.
It ain't puffed up. You're a lowly servant and you're perfect. Come on.
Does not behave indecently.
Does not behave indecently.
Does not seek his own.
Does not seek his own.
Is not provoked.
Is not provoked. Now listen, all the time. All the time. All the time. Yahushua was never provoked. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He was never provoked. All the time. These things, all the time, if you want to be perfect, if you want to be a servant. Come on, read, little one.
Reckons not the evil.
Reckons not the evil.
Does not rejoice over the unrighteousness.
Does not rejoice over the unrighteousness.
But rejoice in the truth.
But rejoices in the truth.
It covers all.
It covers all.
Believes all.
All the time. Believes all. All the time. Read.
Expects all.
Expects all the time.
Endures all.
Endures all the time. Just serve. Just serve. All the time. Come on, read.
Love never fails.
Love never fails.
And whether there be prophecies.
Wait a minute, little one. Love what?
Love never fails.
Love what?
Love never fails.
So if it fails, that means it's imperfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that it's perfect.
Yes.
It never fails.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. Mm-hmm. All the time. Read, little one.
And whether there be prophecies.
Yes.
They shall be inactive.
Uh-huh.
Or tongues.
Yes.
They shall cease.
Mm-hmm.
Or knowledge.
Yes.
It shall be inactive.
Oh, all you that worship gnosis, that worship knowledge. It's going to be inactive one day. And you're going to be looking from the outside, looking in at servants who served while in life, who served for 6,000 years, but on this Shabbat day that's going to last for 1,000 years, you get to see them now sitting down, partaking of the marriage sup of the Lamb, because they served. Because they served. That table is reserved for servants. All servants, inclusive of the Hamashiach, is reserved for servants who walk the ancient path, the servant's road. Read, little one.
Galatians 5:22 and 23.
Galatians 5:22 and 23. Mm-hmm. Galatians 5, verses 22 through 23. Galatians 5, verse 22 through 23. Beginning at verse 22, read, little one.
But the fruit of the root is love.
Listen here, Mashpaka. These are the active ingredients in perfection. These are the active ingredients of perfection. These are the active ingredients in being a servant and walking the ancient path. This is Torah. This is Torah. This is Torah. But the fruit of the Ruach is what?
Is love.
You got to love all the time to be perfect. Come on.
Joy.
You got to be glad all the time. Yes, you do. Come on.
Shalom.
You got to be in shalom all the time. If you're in a ruach, Yahuwah is shalom. If you're in a ruach, walking in a ruach, you got shalom all the time. Read.
Patience.
Yeah, he just said it. You got to be patient all the time to be perfect. Come on.
Kindness.
You got to be kind all the time. Come on.
Goodness.
You got to be good all the time.
Trustworthiness.
You got to be trustworthy all the time. This is the ancient path. Come on, read.
Gentleness.
Oh, you got to be gentle all the time. Come on.
Self-control.
Oh, you got to show that self-control. You got to show that self-control all the time, Mishpaka.
Against such there's no Torah.
Against such there is no judgment. There is no condemnation because you have walked perfect. There is no Torah. There is no condemnation. There is no judgment because you've walked perfectly. Because you've walked perfectly. Give us another precept, little one.
1 Kapha 2, 18 to 24.
1 Peter chapter 2.
18 to 24.
Verses 18 to 24. 1 Peter, Kapha Aleph, chapter 2, verses 18 to 24. 1 Peter, chapter 2, verses 18 to 24. Beginning at verse 18. Read, little one.
Servants, be subject to your masters.
Get the context, get the context, get the context. Servants, be what?
Subject to your masters.
Be subject to your masters.
With all fear.
With all reverence.
Not only to the good and gentle.
Not only to the good and gentle.
But also to the crooked ones.
But also to the crooked ones. In other words, your service is not predicated on your circumstance. Just serve. Just serve. You want to be perfect? Just serve. Read.
For this is favor.
For this is favor. What is favor? Just serving. Just serving. Irrespective of your circumstance, irrespective of your condition, just serve. This is favor. This is favor. Read.
If because of conscience toward Elohim, anyone bears up under grief,
yes,
suffering unrighteously,
yes,
for what credit is there in enduring a beating,
yes,
when you committed crime?
Just serve.
But if you suffer for doing good and you endure, this finds favor with Elohim.
Just serve.
For to this you were called.
For what?
For to this you were called.
For what?
For to this you were called.
Wait a minute. So they understand, little one. What is this? Put a face on this. What is this?
Service.
Service. For this you were called to serve. Come on, little one.
Because Mashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow his steps.
Leaving us an example, little one? What example was that?
Service.
Service. To serve. And the text declares he was highly exalted, but we know he came as us. Right. So you want to be highly exalted? You serve. You follow his example. You walk as he walked, and you serve. You just serve. You just serve. He opened not his mouth. He just served. Just served. You want to be exalted. You want to enter the life. You want to sit at that wedding, that you want to enter to the wedding feast and sit at that banquet table. Just serve. Because only the perfect are going to sit there. First fruits. First fruits alludes to perfection. Yes, it does. Yes. Little one. All right, we're not going to go back to the Torah. We're not going to go back to the Torah. I'm not going to have you turn to the Torah. But are not the offerings to be perfect?
Yes, sir.
Are they not to be perfect? He won't accept anything defiled, right? So the first fruit offerings are what? Perfect. They're perfect. They're perfect. You want to be perfect? Serve. Only the perfect, only the first fruit, in the first resurrection are going to sit down at that table, a table full of servants, a table full of sheep. Come on, read, little one.
Who committed no crime, nor was deceit found in his mouth.
Yes.
Who being reviled, did not revile in return, suffering, did not threaten, but committed himself to him who judges righteously, who himself bore our crimes in his body on the timber, so that we, having died to crime, might live unto righteousness, by whose stripes you were healed. Just serve. Just serve. Just serve. You want to walk this ancient path. Just serve. The next chapter of 1 Peter is chapter 3. What does it say there? In the same way, wives, submit to your husbands. Just serve, wives.
Just serve him. You want to get to the wedding feast? Serve your husband. Serve him in righteousness. We ain't going to go there, but serve him. Husband, you serve your wives. And we are to serve one another without complaint, just serving. Just serve. Just serve. Give us another precept, little one.
This is the last one. Revelation 3, 7 to 13.
Revelation chapter 3. Verses what, little one?
7 to 13.
Verses 7 to 13. Revelation Kazum chapter 3. Verses 7 through 13. Revelation chapter 3. Kazum chapter 3. Verses
7 to 13.
7 to 13. Verses 7 through 13. Barak Yahuwah. Verses 7 through 13. Beginning at verse 7. Read, little one.
And to the messenger of the assembly in Philadelphia write.
Now you understand that this is the 144,000 that are going to enter into Mount Zion. This is the only perfect assembly of the 7 end-time assemblies. The assembly at Philadelphia is the only perfect assembly. Read, little one.
He who is Kadosh.
Uh-huh.
He who is true.
Yes.
He who has the key of Dawood.
Yes.
He who opens and no one shuts.
Yes.
And shuts and no one opens.
Yes.
Says this.
Come on.
I know your works.
I know your what?
Your works.
Your what?
Your works.
I know your service. I know your service. I know your service. Come on, read.
See, I have set before you an open door, and no one is able to shut it. That you have little power.
That you have little power.
Yet you have guarded my word.
Oh, yet you have guarded my word. You have obeyed my word. You have submitted. You are a servant. You have guarded my word of what?
And have not denied my name.
And have not denied my name. Come on.
See, I am giving up those of the congregation of Hashatan who say they are Yahudim and are not,
Yes.
but lie. See, I am making them come and worship before your feet.
Yes.
And to know that I have loved you because you have guarded my word of endurance.
Because you have guarded, not only have you guarded my word, you have been a servant. You have guarded my word. To guard his word means to be a servant. But here he adds on endurance. Endurance means to be patient all the time. All the time. They were perfect. They are perfect all the time. Guard his word of endurance all the time. No matter what's going on, no matter how you feel, you are enduring. You are being patient. By your possession, by your patience, possess ye your souls. They're being patient. They're guarding the word of endurance. They are this is the only perfect assembly that is going to end up at Mount Zion. These are servants. Come on, read, little one.
I also shall guard you from the hour of trial.
Why? Because they're servants. Because they're servants. Because they are servants. Following the Lamb's voice wherever he leads them. Read, little one.
Which shall come upon all the world to try those who dwell on the earth.
Yes.
See, I am coming speedily.
See, I'm coming speedily.
Hold what you have.
Listen to these words, Miss Parker, because Abba has spoken this lately. These words he has spoken lately. Read, little one.
See, I am coming speedily.
I am coming speedily.
Hold what you have.
Hold what you have.
That no one takes your crown.
That no one takes your crown.
He who overcomes.
He who overcomes.
I shall make him a supporting post.
I shall make him a supporting post.
In the dwelling place of my Elohim.
In the dwelling place of my Elohim.
And he shall by no means go out.
And he shall by no means go out.
And I shall write on him the name of my Elohim.
And I shall write on him the name of my Elohim.
And the name of the city of my Elohim.
And the name of the city of my Elohim.
The renewed Jerusalem.
The renewed Jerusalem.
Which comes down out of heaven.
Which comes down out of heaven, out of Shamayim.
From my Elohim.
From my Elohim.
And my renewed name.
And my renewed name.
He who has ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the assemblies.
He who has ears to hear, let him hear what the Ruach says to the assemblies. They were servants. They were servants. They have very little power, yet they are serving. Yet they are guarding his word of endurance. They're not turning to the right or to the left. They're not worrying about what's going on around them. They're not worrying about being tired and They're not worried about their affliction. They're not worrying about anything. They're just focused on serving, on being perfect servants, on being patient all the time, on enduring, on loving all the time, on being good all the time, on being kind all the time, on being selfless all the time, on being trustworthy all the time. Just focusing on being servants. Although they are tired, although they are weak, they're just serving. They're just serving. They're just serving. They're just walking the servant's path. They're just walking the ancient path. And as a result, it says here that he is going to reward them for their work, for their service, and he's going to keep them from the hour of trial. And so I don't care what's coming upon this world. I don't care what they're doing. I don't care about a coronavirus. I don't care about water turning to blood. I don't care about the food and the environment and the soil. I don't care about anything but just serving. Because I understand that if I just serve, if I just walk this ancient path and I just serve, he will keep me from the hour of trial. And I will be given a song that no one else can sing on Mount Zion. Being the first fruit of the Lamb, Barak Yahuwah, being perfect, given a white robe, being considered blameless and perfect, because I guarded his word of endurance, because I just served, because I just served, because I just served. Master Yahuwah, we thank you for this time.
Yes, thank you.
We thank you for this word. We thank you for the seed that you have planted in our hearts this day and in our minds, Master. It is my prayer that this word, this seed is not falling, that it's not falling void, Master, that it's not falling void, but that it is going forth to do what you've sent it forth to do, that this seed is not falling by the wayside on in anyone, Master. Anyone, your servant included, that it's not falling on stony ground, on your servant included, Master. That it's not falling amongst thorns, your servant included, Master. But that it is falling and tilled, broken up, fertilized soil, Master. Your servant included. So that your Ruach, Master, would come and water that seed. And so that it would grow up to become a mighty tree, producing the fruit that leads to everlasting life. Yes, Master. We will hold what we got. We will hold, Master, what we got. And just serve. And just serve, Master. And just serve. And just serve until you come to gather your children and deliver us from the hour of trial. In the righteous, most kadosh name of Yahushua HaMashiach. So be it. So be it.
So be it.
So be it. To those of you on YouTube, we're grateful that Yahuwah has sent you by once again to fellowship with Yahuwah's remnant. I pray that these words are being planted in fertile soil amongst you to wherever you are, to wherever this word is reaching, to the four corners of the Arats. I pray that this word is being planted in fertile soil and that you are taking heed and that you are not being just a hearer of righteousness, but a doer of righteousness, which means to just serve. To just serve. Until the next time, Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor unto you. Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you shalom. Thus you shall put my name on the children of Yasha'al, and I myself shall barak them. So be it. So be it. So be it.